All right. Well, welcome back to the iWealth podcast. And today we're talking about managed accounts versus if you just buy an index.
Sure.
And so me and Mr. Brad Connors, the owner of iWealth, are going to explore that for a minute or two.
Yeah. So when you talk about index, what comes to mind in your mind? Like when we
Set it and forget it.
Okay. All right. And then, what an index is following an index, really. I mean, like an ETF or something like that. So I think of the S&P 500.
Yep.
That's an index of 500 stocks.
Yep.
Now, there's an equally weighted S&P 500, and then there's the S&P 500. Most people just own the S&P. What they don't understand, it's not equally weighted. Like Apple might be 7% of the investment. That's just weighted differently. But the conversation over the last 30 years is like, hey, Brad, I can buy an index. It's cheaper,
Yep.
less expensive, save money. Why would I pay you in order to invest my money?
Yeah. And what's the simple answer to that?
Yeah, well, there's not a simple answer, but I will tell you a study. So Vanguard has did a study, and you can look this up. And Vanguard has a bunch of ETFs, and they go direct to consumer. But they've did a study over years that has said that the average investor gets a 3% yield on their investment higher working with a financial advisor. And they point out several reasons.
Okay. What are the reasons?
Tax management,
Yep.
proper rebalancing, and making smart decisions with their money. Sometimes it's worth to pay somebody just so you don't do something stupid with your money.
Yep.
Okay? And then the other side of it is you do have firms that pick stocks. And there are periods of time when they're better at picking stocks than an index.
Okay.
And then there's times where you're better off where an index is cheaper and the market just flies and it did better than the stock picker. You're like, why am I paying for these guys, right? Where I think the rubber meets the road is on a plan.
Okay.
I think the why you pay an advisor to work with an advisor is it's not just investment related. Yes, you need sound investments. Yes, you need rebalancing. Yes, you need tax management. But you also need someone that's going to ask you about Social Security and when you should turn that on.
Yep.
About what kind of life insurance you should own and when. About how you should think about 529 plans or college funds. About how, Brad, can I never run out of money in retirement? Is there products or things out there, investment management systems that protects my income like a pension?
Yeah.
And there are.
Yeah.
Not for everybody. But I think that's where people need to go when they're like, what am I paying for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you help people through that process and then they say like, I can do it on my own,
Mm-hmm.
is really the answer to it that the technical part you can, but asking the right questions is what is hard to do for yourself. So the same reason why you have a financial advisor,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Even though you are a financial advisor,
Yep.
is maybe the answer to that question.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Matt, because ChatGPT, like these AIs are out there, right?
Totally.
You can ask it.
Yep.
Like I think, and I mentor a lot of advisors that are just getting started in this business, and I tell them, if your value proposition is you pick stocks better than somebody else, you're going to be replaced. Like
Yep.
AI and algorithms and different things like that, or the research that a big firm can do on an individual stock to say, we're going to buy Boeing right now.
Yeah.
Because they're down and they're going to get these contracts and things like that. Like, you just can't do that from your backyard.
Yeah.
The issue is you can have AI, but if you don't know the question, so you alluded to this, if you don't know the question to ask AI, you don't have the output.
Yep.
And so a lot of times our clients will be visiting with us and we'll bring up something and we're like, what about this? And they're like, I never even thought about it. I wouldn't have never thought about that. And then we help solve that problem that they never even knew that they had or potentially could have.
Yep.
That's the advantage of being with an investment advisor. That's why you pay that 1% or whatever that fee is to the advisor. Now, on the flip side, if you're not getting that, if you're not getting the advice, you're not getting the questions asked of you,
Or the life planning.
then maybe you shouldn't be paying it,
Yep.
right? So you, at the end of the day, your performance matters. Your net performance in your pocket absolutely matters, and it's super important. Making smart decisions with your money is super important, and you got to meld those together.
Meld those two worlds.
Yeah, to make sure that they're there. So,
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you heard it here first on the iWealth podcast.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
I'll see you back.